Hi there, my name's Chris Turley and I'm the head of year for transition years. That's the Guides and second, so primary 7 and S1. You're going to see some interviews that we have with a few of our new seconds. So just a few that have joined us just 7 weeks ago, and they're going to tell you a little bit about their induction process and how they have found joining EA as a community. So I hope you look forward to hearing some of their feedback and some of their bits of advice for you if you're thinking of going through the testing process and admissions process and maybe even the induction process to join our local school.
Really great to see you all, and we've got a few of our new seconds or S1s. We've been at the school now for 7 weeks. 7 weeks?
Already?
Does it feel that long?
Yeah, it feels like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Yes, I probably would have said like 4 or 5.
Yeah.
That's
And
7.
this is a nice chance maybe to get a little bit of feedback from you about what it feels like testing and then going through the admissions process and then starting school at the Edinburgh Academy in seconds in S1. So does anyone want to tell us a little bit about how did you feel before the testing day in December? What was going through your mind and what helped on the day? What advice might you have for anyone who might be thinking about doing that test?
Don't really worry about it because it's not like a really, really big deal. It's just you go there and just try and do your best.
Okay, not to worry too much. Okay, thanks Nancy. Anyone else?
It's also,
Yeah, Julie.
it's still good to study. To just to make sure that you at least know some things when you go in to take the test.
Perfect. What actually happens on the day? 'Cause I know it's a long time ago for you, but what happens on the day? Do you remember? Harry?
I think you go in, you sit down in this really big pool, which looked very overwhelming at the time, but it's really not that big.
Yeah.
And you take the test. It's not that long. You can go to the bathroom. You have time of breaks to eat food, do whatever you want, and then you get a bottle and a stress ball. So
Okay, that'd be
it's all
good.
fine.
No problem.
Even if you fail, you get a bottle and a stress ball out of it. So
Awesome.
it's not that big.
And there's a little mini interviews, isn't there? Do you remember those?
Oh
Yeah, you're in a little group with a very positive member of staff who asks you some questions. Do you remember, Alex? You remember your mini interview? How did that go? What advice do you have for someone approaching that?
Well, you don't really need to be shy about it because everyone's gonna speak their heart out and be crazy and go giving all their opinions. It's really fun.
You can't be prepared for that, can you? It's really just to be yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think we were looking for pupils that can listen to others, and who are obviously all really good listeners, but also who would contribute and show some spark and some interest and share some ideas about how you are. Any other final bits of advice for people who are thinking about coming along to the testing day?
I think
Kiara?
it's daunting at first when you're about to have your test, but once you get there, everyone's really kind, all the teachers are welcoming, and if you do get in, the first day of school is really amazing.
Do you remember most of you all came to a 3-day induction day, including a trip to the beach?
I enjoyed
Who'd like to tell us, Matilda, do you want to tell us a little bit about the induction day, what you remember of it? And this is in June, isn't it? So three days in June in the school.
I don't remember anything from Monday. I remember that Tuesday was the beach day trip. Very rainy. Yeah, it was raining. But other than the rain, I enjoyed it. I just don't like the rain. But other than the rain, that was fun.
Monday we had games. I remember everyone walked in for the first time.
Oh, yeah. So fun.
Yeah, that's a lot of it. Especially going through the woods. That was the best bit.
I remember seeing Harry's face when he realised he could be playing cricket. He was
Yeah.
very, very excited, and I immediately thought, here's someone who enjoys playing cricket. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So in those days, you got to meet your new class teacher, you got to meet your new class of 16 with your buddies, you got to do some sport, and we did a school trip. a rainy school trip to the beach, but it was actually. Did anyone remember the sandcastle competition? Did anyone do that?
Yeah,
we won.
And why did you win, Kiara? What was?
Because it was the best one.
Okay. Any other
Ours
memories?
was very good, but then the boys kind of jumped on it.
Did they?
We had the Great Wall of China on ours.
Did you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie.
I remember.
Are there any last thoughts about the induction days? The purpose of it is for you to see as much of the school as is possible in 3 days. So over the summer, you've got some sense of what you're coming to. And some of you move city, for example, and it's not just a new school, move country. And some of you have got to travel in much further, to come to the school. There's lots of big changes. How well did the induction day, and be honest here, how well did it help you think about over the summer? You think about coming in August and September. Nancy.
Like, in the induction days, I knew all the girls in my class's names, which really helped because I could talk about them, text my mum, and oh yeah, so and so was really nice, and when I came, they weren't all strangers, and it wasn't nice to see them again.
Okay, so you had that shared memory already from that. Yeah.
After the induction, I felt like I actually kind of knew the school and I had been there for ages, because I felt very welcomed and was given a great tour of the school, and I felt like I really belonged, and how I felt like I've been there forever really.
Okay. Alex, do you want to add?
No.
Please don't put me on the spot, Mr. Taylor. Anything else people want to add, please?
After the induction day during the summer holiday, during summer, I was so excited every day. All I can really think about was joining Edinburgh Academy and wearing this uniform.
Yes.
Oh, that's such a nice thing to hear.
After I got my uniform, I was oh my god, I can't wait to go to school in this. I love my uniform. I can't wait to have my uniform. And I kept going to my mum, can we go get my uniform? 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 Can we go get my uniform?
She must have been so delighted to have that on
I really
as a soundtrack.
Because I really wanted to get my uniform.
Okay.
After I got it, I was really happy. My mum took a picture and sent it to my dad. And yeah.
Thank you. Now, we're talking very positively about that. I presume some of you were feeling quite nervous before that first day after the summer, despite a good, successful induction day. Was there some nerves?
Yeah.
I was mostly just nervous about walking to games.
I was
Yeah.
very nervous during the induction day every day walking in.
Yeah.
It's like butterflies, because it's quite normal. I've been teaching for quite a few years, and I still get a little bit nervous after the summer holidays because I'm like, well, I remember how to teach. Well, I remember all the things that I normally do. And so if you're brand new to the school, that's a really big deal. So how do you get over any butterflies or any nerves that you did have, which is completely normal? What made that feel better in those first, Kiara, you talked about the very first day of school, but what helped in that first week?
I think just everyone in the class, they all helped you out if you were lost or going to lessons. Even if they were in a different class, they would help you and go to would help you go to their class, to your class.
Mm-hmm.
And even if they're late, they don't mind because they're trying to help others. But the buddies were really nice as well, and the teachers were welcoming.
Great. So knowing that it was okay if you got lost, that's always one of the questions. What happens if I get lost? And actually there's always someone, a teacher or people to help you. Okay. Anything else? Yeah, Nancy.
For me, I wasn't after the induction days, I wasn't really very worried about actually going to Edinburgh Academy. It was more before I came here, I used to get on the school bus. I knew everybody in the bus, but coming here to go on the bus on my own, so I was kind of really worried about that. But I'm now very used to it.
So you got used to it in time.
Yeah. Same here. Being on the bus.
Anything else about that first week? What made the difference in the first week? Izzy?
And how the school is quite simple and how you know where everything is more easily.
Mhm.
Like how the math classrooms are all in the yard.
Mhm.
and how like the geography questions are above the dining hall and stuff. It makes everything a lot easier to know where everything is. If everything's like in one place, and there'll be the occasional, we're going to move here for this class for this reason.
So, and often you find maybe that presumably many of you from schools where you were just in one place or only a few places, and suddenly you're in a school where every lesson is in a different location. And that's maybe a bit different for some of you. Yeah. So, Nancy?
Like I find having like D1 on the doors, like down, so it's like D for Donaldson, so you know to go to Donaldson and then just find your way up. So at my old school, we still moved around but didn't have any of that. So if you didn't know where to go, you would. And all the classrooms, like geography was next to science, and another geography class was on the other side of the school. But here it's kind of really well laid out, so you don't get lost. If you're trying to find geography, if you find one geography classroom, the geography will probably be the same.
Did anyone use a map?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I kind of found it very
As well as using people to help. Yeah.
just
So-
for like the first week, and then I knew where it was going.
Yeah. Excellent. The main question I have for you now is about our trip to Newlands. When we went down to the Lake District to Keswick for an outdoor activity camp for 4 whole days, and it was 3 weeks into your time at the school, maybe 3.5 weeks.
It
into
feels
your-
like it doesn't feel that long ago. How long ago was it?
Well, it was pretty early on, and of course the purpose of that trip for us, the reason why we put that trip on is to do with helping new pupils joining the school feel like they're part of the school. That is why we do the trip, and so you have this big shared memory with everyone in your year. Yeah, so you're not hearing people going on about what happened last year. You're actually, oh, this is what happened. Remember that time. What was one of your highlights at Newlands, Alex?
The food.
The food. Tell me about that. What was good about the food?
The breakfast.
The breakfast.
Yeah.
Did it make you smile?
Yeah.
Having a hearty, full English breakfast each morning.
Yeah.
Good. Any other?
Yeah, the activities were really good, and my
That's
favourite one was definitely the woods, because I'm kind of scared of heights, and the Tarzan swing especially was quite high, and you would swing over the river, and it was very scary, but it was also really fun.
And the river was quite high, wasn't it? Because of all the
Yeah.
rain, so it really was quite dramatic.
And it was
we
like,
never got to go stuff.
But if I'm being honest, the part that we did before we went out to do like going over the water was definitely the most scariest.
Was it? Yeah.
Even though it was on ground, and my favorite part of it was zip lining.
The zip line.
That was so fun.
Excellent. Kiara.
It was quite funny because the teacher in my boat, which is you, Mr. Daddy, had accidentally left something on the boat on the
I
shore,
remember that.
and so I jumped out the boat and swam to shore to go get it.
Yeah, it's quite important what I left as well. Yeah. And you say
Oh,
hey,
yes.
Yeah.
What did you forget?
just all the medical things and my mobile phone.
No, it's everything
Just a little
I just swim back. She goes like this.
I mean that was for those of us that were on that particular. And this was some canoeing in Lake
and I got to push you in.
Derwent Water.
She
Seeing
pushed you in.
Seeing Nancy's face of glee, because I took a photo of you just before you pushed me into the water, you were so extraordinarily happy about having a chance to push Mr. Terry into the water. But that was a fun moment, and you did save the day. Yeah, Harry, how was Newlands?
Great. Just 4 hours.
Amazing. I mean, there were lots of different activities, but of course you could do evening activities as well. Does anyone remember some of those? What were they like? What were they like? Tell them.
I don't remember all of them, but there was like a disco, and we were kind of just all having fun with that.
The activities that I can remember is where you had to bring something just like this, like you had to bring something smelly and someone brought in their foot. You had to bring in something and people brought in grass.
There was a lot of kind of team building games, wasn't there? And I guess that was one of the things was by mixing everyone up, by mixing all the groups up, the idea was that hopefully you would all get to meet new people in the year group. How successful was that? Genuinely, in terms of, did you manage to have conversations with people that perhaps you wouldn't have normally in your science or your other lessons?
I'd say yeah.
Yeah.
Because I didn't really know anyone in my group, but I just ended up talking to Hannah mainly. So now I know Hannah.
Yeah, and now I know Phoebe, because she was in my group.
I didn't know Martha, but I now know who Martha is. Martha Pitt.
I don't know who Layla or Angus, but I don't know.
And now, when you see them at break time or in lunch, if you look at them and they go like that and you go like that, have you got that kind of level of, I don't know, that's,
Yeah.
sorry, I'm not trying to
Yeah.
say how you all communicate with each other, maybe you do this. But do you find that you actually now can have those little chats that perhaps you wouldn't have necessarily done before? Okay, so, you're going to say, sorry to interrupt.
Even as well, the boys in the group, sometimes they don't like to like a mix as well, girls and boys, but as well with supporting each other. Like I was scared of heights, but I've got over my fear of heights because everyone in the group, like everyone was supporting me.
Yeah.
So.
Excellent. Yes.
Another thing about Newlands was when there was like I think it was like the monkey swing or something when you were clipped into a harness and you had to go get puzzle pieces from a tree. I went last in my group because I was scared. The person before me, they didn't go all the way up. They only went like maybe a third. And there's enough pieces for everyone to get one because they didn't go to get it. And everyone was kind of depending on me to go and get the final two pieces. And I was kind of scared to go up and do it myself. And once I went up there, and it was lots of fun, and I enjoyed it. And I had to get lifted up extra high because the puzzle piece is stuck in that. So that's it.
Thank you for sharing. Anything else that people want to share while we're here?
I think the rock climbing and archery in England was fun.
Yeah. I enjoyed the rock climbing. That was probably my favorite bit. I did it blindfolded. I'd never done
You did the rock climbing blindfolded?
I just did the
Anyone else use it?
I just
on the
tilted one.
That sounds
really,
terrible.
tilted one in. It was like a really basic one, and it was so like just because it wasn't like one overhang one, it was one slightly tilted so you could walk up.
Do you not feel quite claustrophobic?
I've never climbed before, and I think doing it inside really helped. And now I really wanted to go climbing again because it was lots and lots of fun. I was doing it on the little bit tilted at an angle wall, and I was doing lots of practices like coming down and trying to go up to the top, and then doing it blindfolded.
Wow. Brilliant.
And when I was like doing canoeing, and one of the instructors, I was on a boat with Miss McQuinn, Miss Miller, and Alice, Daisy Thompson, and Mahira, and the instructor got a bucket of water and poured it, and like he went like that, and he went all over us, and I was at the front, and I was the closest, so I got soaked.
That
And it
sounds
was cold.
a lot of fun. So, yeah, you got to know more teachers as well, which is great. Okay, last thing. What are you looking forward to, apart from the October break, what are you looking forward to going forward, as in seconds?
Achieving.
In school, like what are you looking? What sort of things are whether it's the Halloween this? Have I told you about the Halloween this?
Yeah.
So whether it's something like that, or even just like I'm really excited about chemistry or a certain sport or an activity that I want to get into. What sort of things are you looking forward to thinking about?
I'm looking forward to hearing who gets into the netball team.
Yeah, that's all I was gonna say.
Is that coming up?
Yeah,
it's
it should be coming up this week.
Okay, exciting. Thank you, Harry.
The cricket season.
Yeah.
Really.
Good. And that starts early, doesn't it, in this school, because there's lots of pre-season training and Mr. Patterson's pretty on it. So
As well as like the Grange.
yeah.
Sometimes me, I'm skating, then go to the Grange.
Nice. So you're actually already there. You're already doing cricket. Brilliant. Thank you. Yes.
Well, this isn't really a this year thing, but like after the summer, doing division drama again. Cause that was
Yeah, that was
Really fun.
Tell me about division drama. I mean, it was amazing, but just tell us about what that was like, especially as a person just joining the school.
Well, I didn't really want to be on stage, so I was just doing backstage stuff. But I thought it was funny.
Not just you're doing backstage stuff. Without backstage, there are no plays. It's important. It's really important. So I'm glad you enjoyed that. G,
I also have a question for you, Mr. Turley.
go for it.
How was it when you first started working here?
Oh my goodness, that was quite a while ago. But I felt nervous before my first day. I had butterflies in my tummy before I came in, and I was quite young. I was 23 when I started teaching. I was teaching history and modern studies and politics, and I was thinking, not much older than some of the sevenths. You know, I'm only 5 years older than the sevenths. Are they going to take me seriously? Am I going to be able to do it? But I found it a really, really enjoyable experience very quickly because supportive staff, but mainly because of the pupils. Because the pupils were sparky, were fun, were interesting, worked hard, asked good questions, and so from then on I was like, yes, this is definitely the right place to be, the right job, and the right sort of environment. 1, 2, 3, go! Yay!